Feel like I'm living a teenage dream. The way you turn me on, I can't sleep. Let's run away. Don't ever look back. Don't ever look back. Hello, everybody, and welcome officially to my market wrap-up video. For those of you who may not be aware or just don't know, I went to my first ever market this past weekend called the Blossom Bash up in Mount Vernon, Washington. It was amazing. I had a great time, and I am here to tell you all about it. Previous to making my own market wrap-up video, I've watched a couple just to see like what I should put into it, because like I have a rough idea, but I wanted like, oh, do I do this, do I not do this, but also sprinkling in my own and whatnot. And one thing that I saw everybody do was list out everything they brought, the prices, and then what sold and what didn't. We're not going to do that part of it. At least we're not going to do everything I brought, because I brought $3,000 worth of inventory. I'm not kidding. Going into this market, it was my first ever market, so I did bring a lot with me because 1, it was 2 days, 2, it was up somewhere where I am not from, so I didn't really know what the crowd was going to be like, so I brought a little bit of everything, and 3, I just wanted to bring everything, and I did, and it actually turned out really well. Would I bring all of that with me to the markets in the future? Yes, I would, because if I feel like if there were more people at the market, then I would have sold more. Obviously, that's kind of how it works. But nonetheless, I'm very happy with my market results, and I'm here to share them with you. Obviously, I'm going to talk about the market, what sold, and everything like that. Even though I just contradicted myself by saying I wasn't. But like, I'll give you like what sold, okay? Because that's smaller than the list of stuff that I brought. I also just want to take a second to talk about some of the amazing vendors that I was around, because there truly was so many of them. I was in the biggest building, and I was like back to back with different market vendors. Like we were facing out in opposite directions. So like the 6 of us, like the 6 vendors in like that little rectangle, we all made friends. Or at least I think we all made friends. I made friends with all of them. And that was fun for me, and it was a very enjoyable experience in that realm. Because I'm kind of a little bit of a dum-dum, I didn't grab anybody's social media that I can remember. There might be one who I grabbed an Instagram from, but everybody else I didn't. I wish that I did, but I didn't, so I can't be like, oh, go look at this amazing work, because I literally don't know. I don't know, and I wish I did. But me talking about the amazing people I was surrounded by, let's talk a little bit about the market, like logistics, kind of like the setup, because I think this is really important. Going into markets, you don't know what the setup's going to be, or I didn't know. All I knew is where it was. I didn't know exactly what spot I was going to be in until I got there, and I feel like that's something that I severely overlooked. So my setup was based off of like a certain, thing, and it just didn't happen. So this market took place at the fairgrounds, and we were all in buildings, and the building that I was in, I was spot number 32, and I unfortunately had like a pole in the middle of my setup, so instead of facing my U outwards, I ended up facing it inwards. I personally think that had a little bit to do with the projection of my sales, because I'm a researcher, okay, and before I went to my first market, I'm like, okay, what setups work, what setups don't, and from my research, I found that if you set it outwards, more people are likely to come and look, because people don't want to feel like they're trapped, especially with the freaking pole in there. Like I had to work around the pole. I probably could have figured something else out, but at the time I'm just like, we'll just do backwards U and hope that it works. Another thing that I just want to point out, because I want to point it out, is that it was really cold in the mornings, so my mom and I were snuggled up under blankets behind the table, just sitting there, and I was in, like, I had cute little outfits, one for Easter and one for St. Patty's Day, because it was St. Patrick's Day weekend, and I literally had to cover it up with a sweatshirt half the time. Literally has nothing to do with the market. I just wanted to point it out because I like to complain. But moving on from my fear of the cold, I was in the biggest building that was there, and I was in that building with another crocheter who was like 3 tables away from me, like in the back corner. It's really hard to describe, but I was like in the middle, and then they were in the back corner, and then there were like 2 or 3 other crocheters in the other buildings as well. So I'm a snooper. I went and looked at all the other crochet tables and looked at their prices and the materials and everything like that. And I think I priced mine fair. My prices were a little bit higher than some of the other crocheters, but I think that was just based off a skill level, materials, time, and I wasn't going to change my prices because I'm happy with the prices that I have. Were they a little bit more expensive for markets? Yes. Am I disappointed? No, because otherwise I would have been cheating myself out of money, and I already do that. I don't really take into account the time that I put into stuff, just the materials, and then like $2 or $3 more, which I know is not great. But it's what I do. I guess it's kind of a lie in some situations. Big blankets and big plushies are priced by hour, but that's just my philosophy, if you will. Another thing I want to point out is that this market was both Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 4. How many hours is that? 10 to 11, 11 to 12. So 6 hours every day. So 12 hours in total. Oh, I actually did really good then. Okay. I didn't actually figure out, like, monetarily wise how much I made an hour, but I think I did pretty okay if we're taking into account that I was only there for 12 hours. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to do some calculations. Now let's talk about the things that sold. I actually took pictures of everything, so let me just mosey my way over here so you can see pictures of the things that I sold. For those of you who do not know, a couple months ago, I made this giant octopus named Mr. Squiggles. He is my pride and my joy, and I brought him to the market literally for demonstration purposes to show that I can make more than, little plushies that are like the size of your hand. Just because I had a custom order sign and I wanted people to see, hey, I can make this. But I put it had an $80 price point, okay? Like, I did not expect him to go. I really thought I was going to be bringing him home, and I was completely fine with that. But he was the first guy to leave. He was the first to leave. Mr. Squiggles looked absolutely amazing sitting there. He had on these cool glasses. He was wearing a Shrek hat. He was ready to move up in the world, and he did. I honestly am still mourning the loss of him. He was like my first really big plushie I've ever made, and now I want to make more of him because everyone's like, oh, your giant octopus is gone. So we're making more giant octopi in the future. Looking back, I do wish I priced him a little bit higher. He was a B grade octo just because some of his tentacles were different lengths because lengths. What? I can't say it. They were different lengths. They were different how long they are. Whatever. Because of that, I did price them really low, but I feel like I should price them a little bit higher, just materials wise, but it's okay, because I'm going to make more. I'm in love with Mr. Squiggles and his pattern, and I am determined to make more giant octopi. This is going to feel weird, because I have to go through every single one of these. I also sold one butt frog for 10. I believe it was my teal one, which unfortunately was the one up on my Etsy, so I had to take him down. I sold my blue elephant, which I was really surprised. The things that sold surprised me, honestly. He was sold for 32. I sold 2 of my Costa Rica turtles for a total of 25. At the market, I had them priced 1 for 14 or 2 for 25. It is a little bit different than the pricing on my website, but that's just because it's going to a cause, I guess. It's going to my educational trip to Costa Rica. I'm really proud of my turtles. My turtles did great. I also sold one of my white chickens for 18. All of my chickens were priced the same at the market just because I could not be bothered to keep track of what size what chicken was, because I have to literally go and line them all up, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. That's not happening. I'm not doing that in front of customers, so I just set a flat rate of 18 for all my chickens. The next order is actually insane. There was one, I believe she was a grandmother, who came up to my booth and bought stuff for her grandchildren's Easter baskets, which is what I was expecting people to do because Easter's right around the corner, so I had like Peeps, Love Bugs, stuff like that. So in her order, she got a bunch of stuff. She got 4 of my Costa Rica turtles for a total of 50. Another turtle that I crocheted, which was 15. 2 of my love bugs, which were 30. In total, 15 each. And then my gray elephant with pink ears, I believe, who sold for 30. That was actually insane to me. Like, I was just processing that entire time, and then I turned to my mom and I'm like, I literally just broke even for my booth fee by one order. Heck yeah. We celebrated by getting food. And then my final order on day 1, I did separate these by day. My final order on day 1 was another sea turtle, which was for 14. Overall, day 1, it went really well. During that day, I found out from the event planner who was walking by talking to someone that there were apparently 12 other events going on in the area on Saturday. So for the people who came, I am not mad at how much I made. I think it was like 2 something, maybe 3. I can't remember, but it was definitely more than I made the second day. Then we are on to Sunday, and Sunday was actually a really great day. I made a lot of connections with other crocheters. We swapped, or didn't swap, but like showed each other our projects. Like mine were on the table, obviously, but they were like, look at what I crochet. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. And it was just a lot of fun making connections with other crocheters who were not selling their stuff and just did it for fun. But that day, I sold my pink love frog for 10. Both of my small red mushies, which was really exciting for me. I sold both of them 12 each for a total of 24. I sold one of my pocket mushies for $4. My blue moon pillow, which I was really surprised by, sold for 45. Like, I didn't think those were going to sell either. I just brought them because they were my own patterns, and I wanted to say, I made the pattern. If you crochet, you know I have the pattern. But I don't have it anymore. Then I sold 2 pocket mushies for 4 each, 2 separate transactions, 2 separate people, but they just happened to be next on the list. I sold my pig for 12, and then finally one of my dragonflies for 12. Now, going in and actually reading over this list, I realized that it may not seem like a lot, and that's because I severely overestimated how many people were going to be there. But I wasn't given like a people trajectory, and I didn't want to run out. So, like I said before, I would bring what I brought again. I don't think I brought too much. I think I just didn't get the foot traffic that I was expecting, and that's okay. It was my first market. Like, I wasn't expecting to sell out. Was it like a little baby thought in the back of my mind? Sure, but it wasn't like a realistic expectation. My goal for going into this market was literally just to break even with the fees that I had to pay to come here. So, like the hotel fee, because we had to stay up there, and then my booth fee. My dogs had to get boarded, and I was hoping to pay for that too, but I was not. I didn't tell you the total, did I? I should probably do that. At the market, I made a total of $419, which is very exciting. Yay, I did it. Would I go back and change anything that I did? I don't think that I would. I don't. I may have found a different way to set up my booth, but that pole, literally, I blame the pole, okay? I know I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to blame the pole. I think that I could have found a different way to set up my stuff. Like maybe like an L and then one of my little tables in front. I don't know. I had 3 tables and I probably should have done something different, but I didn't, and I'm going to stop obsessing over it because that's all I've been thinking about for the past 2 days since I've come home from my market. I made just enough money to pay for the hotel and not my booth fee, so the money will be going back to my mom who paid for the hotel up front. But nonetheless, I am very proud of myself. I had a great first time in my market, and I had a great time. I made a lot of connections, and I'm very happy for moving forward. I totally forgot to mention this, but while I was there, I also got a custom order for a dinosaur with this pattern. I haven't made it yet. That's an upcoming vlog that we're doing, is making custom orders. I got that custom order, which I expect to be 65. I already bought the yarn, and it looks like it's going to be about 65, in case you're wondering. In addition to the wonderful things that I sold at the market, I also made a connection with someone who either runs or is part of an assisted living facility up in Mount Vernon, who was interested in me being at their 2 times a year market and then teaching a class there, which I said I would absolutely be open to doing, just that I have college. But we did trade business cards. Like I got myself a cute little pamphlet. They have my business card, and hopefully I associate with them in the future, or some of the stuff that they do. I don't know what will happen. I'm assuming they're gonna reach out to me because I took my business card, and I said I'd be more than happy to be there, but I don't want to like shove myself in there, you know, so we'll just see what happens with that. I also put my own foot in a different door for a market that's happening up in Mount Vernon at the same place on June 2nd of this year, and I'm very excited to go back up there because it's beautiful up there. I've never actually been that far north in Washington, and it was really fun. So if you live anywhere in the area, on June 2nd, there is the Orchard Oasis Market going on at the Skagit County Fairgrounds, and I will be there. Yours truly. But yeah, overall, I met some amazing people, sold a lot more of my work. Well, I don't want to say a lot more than I was expecting. I definitely sold less than I was expecting, but I'm not disappointed in what I did. You know, I wish I would have made literally just a little bit more so I could have paid for both the hotel and the booth fee, but it's okay. I think like 6, 7, I keep saying like different numbers, but I think I have like 6 or 7 markets this summer. So hopefully I'll be able to pay off all those booth fees, all the traveling fees, and everything else that has to go into it with ease. Hopefully, as we go through the summer, I make more money. That's the hope, you know, that's the hope. I really love doing markets, and I'm not going to stop even if it doesn't make as much as I hope, because it's really just a wonderful experience all around. If there was anything that we made last week that you were interested in, and whether or not it would be up on my Etsy. It is going to be. For those of you who are not aware, I do my restocks on the 1st of every month. It's going to be a little bit different for March/April. Normally, I would do my restock on the 1st of April, but I'm actually in Ireland. I leave the 30th of March and come back the 12th of April, I believe. But because I'm not going to be here, I'm going to post everything to my Etsy on the 28th, which is actually really bad timing because I leave the day after. But I am not planning on putting my Etsy onto vacation mode. I'm just going to leave it up because I don't get a whole ton of traction. And if orders do come in, I'll message. I'm going to say you guys just with the assumption that it's going to be you. But I will send you a message on Etsy saying, hey, I'm currently abroad. I will literally pack up my order and send it out the second I get back. That's how it's going to go, and we're going to vibe with it. Overall, really happy with the market. I'm really sad I didn't get to make all of the things that I wanted to make because I had a whole list, but we have my next market's in May. I don't remember where. I don't know. I'll tell you when we're closer to it. But I'm very excited for May, and I have some amazing things that we are going to make for that market as well. I'm going to recycle the list from this past market because there are some cute things on there that I didn't get to make, and I want to make them. So that's the plan, Stand Man. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope that you had fun going over my market with me. If there's any other stuff you want me to include in future market wrap-up videos, please let me know. Like, I personally don't know what else I would include, but if you have something, girl, I'm down. I got you. In addition to that, if you have any questions about anything, please feel free to ask in the comments. I am more than willing to give you little speckles of knowledge that you may want for either your markets or just, I don't know, crocheting in general. Feel free to ask away. I'm more than welcome to talk about my lovely little adventures with you guys. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed your extra video this week, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a wonderful time. Thank you guys so much for all of the freaking support recently. Blown away. Absolutely blown away. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday as normal. Bye guys. Toodaloo.